Welcome back to Market on Close. Hertz made news today revealing its plans to sell its used cars on Amazon Autos. The plan will start out at locations in Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles and Seattle, with plans to expand to 45 locations around the US. So joining us now to discuss that news is Carl Brauer, who is the executive analyst at iSeeCars.com. Carl, thanks for joining us. Interesting deal. What are your takeaways? What are your thoughts on all of this?
Well, this is a great preview of, I think, coming attractions in the car retailing world. I think you just can count on more and more businesses seeing the opportunity to process sales digitally, use the online capabilities that have been around for 2 decades and probably should have been taken more advantage of a long time ago. But the dealer franchise laws have really kind of held that up. But I think the value equation for these kind of processes and transactions are going to overcome even the resistance from those franchise laws. They're going to figure their way around those things. And when you look at Hertz, hundreds of thousands of car sales a year, all they have to do is save a little bit of money per transaction, and that adds up quickly. And they're probably going to save more than just a little bit of money utilizing online services.
Well, it seems like investors agree with you. I mean, the stock is up about 6% in trade today as we close out for this session. I'm just wondering, why now?
I think Hertz has been in a turnaround mode. They had some tough times in the last few years, and I think they're very focused on pushing everything as far as they can back into success and convincing investors and shareholders that the company's on the right course and that this is a great timing for a move like this. And certainly Amazon, I believe, is also interested in increasing their ability to sell cars online. There's been rumblings and little moves here and there with Hyundai and all, but this is a kind of big move for both companies. They both benefit at multiple levels, and I think Hertz is ready to embrace an opportunity like this.
I mean, you say it's only a matter of time before automotive retailing moves online. Where are we at in that transition right now?
Well, where we're at is that there's various companies finding ways to keep the dealer and the franchise laws happy while processing transactions for vehicles increasingly in digital format online and reducing the time and energy at the dealership, which most consumers will celebrate too. I mean, you look at someone like Carvana, like a lot of companies, they went through their ups and downs in the last few years, but if you could have bought the stock at the low, you'd be doing quite well. And again, an online digital retailer that makes the car process very smooth and easy and takes away that kind of, dental visit type of feeling that most people associate buying a car with. They just don't want to go deal with that. And more of this is going to happen because the technology is there. It would already happen, but we've been held up by some legal concerns, and those legal concerns aren't going to be strong enough. People are going to find their way around them to make it happen.
As somebody with their finger on the pulse very much in this market, I mean, have you heard any sort of rumblings of other companies looking to partner up and do a similar thing?
Every automaker is looking at this. They're very carefully weighing this. I know there have been some other rumblings out there. I can't remember if it was at Ford. I know I've heard some other companies that were looking at the Amazon retailing. And again, Hyundai has already made a move in that direction. And Hyundai is one of these companies that often is pushing hard and trying to be on the cutting edge of these things. They've done very well with that, both in their car and product design, but also in their way of operating their business. And I think they wanted to jump in there as quicker than anyone else could. And I can't believe other automakers are going to let that happen and not see that as a competitive advantage that they've got to not, lose out on.
Yeah, and obviously as we look at sort of the macro environment, I mean, how are you looking at some of these used car trends right now, particularly with all of these worries and uncertainties and a lack of visibility around tariffs? I mean, you've even had some of the big US car manufacturers saying that they're going to take a pretty hefty hit from what we're seeing with regards to some of these auto duties. So, I mean, how are you looking at the overall used car space right now?
It's been interesting because used cars have gone up in price for the last 5 months. And that had not happened for about 2.5 years. They went crazy with new car prices during COVID. Then they dropped for 2.5 years straight. And they were still much higher. They've all been much higher since before COVID, between inflation and everything else. But they were dropping for 2.5 years. And then they started to go up in March, and they've gone up every month since, used car prices. And this, to me, reflects an continued imbalance between supply and demand. People are still buying used cars. I think they're avoiding the new car prices that have gotten crazy in the last few years. And there's still a lot of people who are like, I used to buy new, now I'm buying used. You've also had people on leases that after 3 years, they're buying their lease more so than they used to because they look around at another lease or a new car and they're like, I'll just buy this car. I can't believe how much I have to pay if I don't. That's drying up the used car supply. A lot of used car supply comes from cars off lease and people are buying them instead. So used cars are moving back up again and new cars are still holding even. I think that's because all the profit that new car companies have been able to make on their sales in the last few years, they're absorbing some of the tariffs right now because they know there's a sense economically that if they keep raising prices, they're going to lose even more potential sales. But I don't know. We're going to have to see if tariffs really force them to have to keep absorbing the profit, which they're still making plenty on, or whether they start to actually raise prices as well.
Okay, interesting trends that you're seeing and certainly a glimpse into the future. Really fascinating chat. Thanks so much for your time today. Carl Brower of iSeeCars.com.